Yeah, I would say I will break down my journey as to what my approach was.
Okay, hey everyone, and welcome to this video. I'm here with Joban. Some of you may know him already. He's quite popular on the social media, and of course he has his own podcast he hosts. So we just filmed a video on his channel, and now it's time to have a video on my channel with Joban. So yeah, so Joban, he interned at Microsoft in, was it 2020?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he did that like with, I think, Microsoft GitHub,
Yeah,
DevOps stuff, and he's come back, and now it's been, I think, about a year now since you've
yeah,
joined as a
Microsoft.
full-time
Yeah,
software engineer, and yeah, so it's really nice because I met him when, I think, before he was starting as his
yeah,
intern journey, and now he's here full time, and soon we'll be learning about his journey in more depth. So this is going to be exciting for me and hopefully all of you in the audience. So Joban, I would like to first start off by saying congrats on the amazing success so far. And you know, lots of students I think are very, you know, ambitious and eager to learn how they can do something like you did. And first off, perhaps we could learn a bit more about you, your journey, and yeah.
First of all, Salman, thanks for inviting me to your channel. I think it's really on honor for me. And as you said, like I met you before I was about to be an intern at Microsoft. So my journey starts with the college itself, my 4-year degree program. And so in my third year, starting of third year, Microsoft visited our campus for interns. And yeah, so there we were a bunch of eight students who got selected for a summer internship at Microsoft. And yeah, so at that time, I think I was lucky to be in those 8 students. So regarding then, did summer internship in when COVID was in full swing. I was at home, got to experience the virtual internship. So everything was new, but it was a new experience. But I learned a lot in an internship, and I did my internship in Azure DevOps, which is now being merged to GitHub India. So GitHub was acquired by Microsoft, and now so yeah, so now a lot of DevOps stuff is also being merged into GitHub, and then luckily got a return offer, and then joined Microsoft as a full-time software engineer last year. And it's been close to a year now, and now I'm working on building the backend services for Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business. And I'm really proud. We are serving like millions of customers daily and helping them in their day-to-day life. So yeah, this is my story briefly regarding Microsoft and how I got into it, Microsoft. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. You got into like the top 8, and that must, yeah, like that must have been like a really amazing thing for you at the time. And of course, now to think about it, it's yeah, still quite incredible, very incredible. And you know, it's like you said, working on such a product like Microsoft Teams affecting so many people. What does that feel like in terms of, in comparison to when you're a university student going straight into like such
Yeah.
a big product? How does that feel?
Actually, like I would say, I was really humbled and surprised to see uh, how a one line of code can impact so many lives. And so now I feel that that responsibility as well, that I serve millions of customers, and I think that's pretty unique about Microsoft itself, and that the platform it provides to me as a software engineer to impact so many lives on the daily basis. I think that's pretty incredible. And yeah, I think a small set of people get that chance, and I am lucky enough to be one of them.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, like the fact that being able to work on products which people work on day to day,
Yeah.
or yeah, they use day to day in their lives.
Mm.
It's really cool, and
And
it's
I think with the
inspiring.
pandemic, with the pandemic, the Microsoft Teams is now really an essential part of everyday life of millions of users. And I think going forward, it's going to uh, only increase, and the number of users and the impact will only increase for Microsoft Teams. And as we all know, like virtual work is here to stay. And I think Microsoft Teams and whole Office 365 suite um, is the core of that virtual work environment, I think.
100%. And it's incredible because I also as you know, like worked in like the stuff behind Teams, Skype, Azure Communication Services, and like because like it was an internship, gone back to
Mm,
uni, and they're using Teams and they're using all these
yeah,
things, and it's like, whoa,
yeah.
like this, like have we been
Yeah,
working on stuff?
exactly. I never thought like the softwares I'm using as a student, I'll be one day working on them. So in that sense, yeah, it's pretty incredible, and I'm really grateful that I am getting the chance to actually work on something that a lot of people use actually in their daily lives.
And this was a sort of thing we discussed before, but like there's certain products out there in the world which obviously I won't name them because
Yeah,
it's definitely still good, but yeah, you could work in certain like places and certain organizations, certain teams, which you know they're products which you could live without. Um, but like yeah, being able to work on something which is so impactful and so meaningful, it's really cool and it's really fulfilling. And that's one
yeah,
thing like um I think people should look for as well is something which a job which they actually see it being meaningful. So then you work
exactly.
more towards it and you feel more
Yeah,
like motivated to do that thing because you're not only just doing it for the paycheck or to
yeah,
because of the prestige, but because it's actually something which is impacting so many people. And yeah,
exactly.
so yeah, we really love the stuff we've worked on, and yeah, and we hope we love you. Wait, what did I just say? We hope you love the products too.
Yeah,
Yeah, so okay, so yeah, so that's what some of you hopefully could be working on. So Jovan, in terms of like your advice for students, because obviously like you've gone through this whole journey now,
yeah,
you know, year plus, you know what a good software engineer is, you know what it's like to be an intern, you've got the return offer.
yeah,
Perhaps let's start with your advice for going into this whole process as like a
mhm,
fresher, so
yeah.
first year student or second year. Yeah.
So yeah, I would say I will break down my journey as to what my approach was. So starting from the first year, I was into computer science fundamentals, C++, object-oriented programming, covering basic data structures, and just laying the foundation for a computer science background. So first year was that, and then my goal was always to like work in backend, sort of backend technologies. So then I started picking up some of the web dev work and starting learning about the backend technologies, Node.js, C Sharp, backend stuff, and operating system, how operating systems work. So there as well, like I made some projects which I would say would look good on my resume eventually, because as a first year, second year students, you only have projects, right? You don't have anything else to show in your resume. And I would say to a student who is in first year or second year, not to just follow the tutorials you see on YouTube's and just copy paste the code. I would suggest to uh, thoroughly understand what projects you are building and what are the fundamentals behind them. That way, when you put a project in your resume and when you are appearing for an interview, the interviewer uh, will ask you questions and you will be confidently able to answer those questions. And and I think there is so much you can uh, bluff in an interview. Ultimately, the reality comes out, and interviewers are trained that way to understand the actual fundamentals of testing, actual fundamentals of a student. So that way, just I was focused on cementing my fundamentals in my early years, and then as I said, I was lucky enough that Microsoft visited our campus to hire interns. There, there was a standard process of 4 to 5 interviews where there was an online round first that a bunch of 150 students cleared that round, and then there was a pen paper round where you sit in a big hall and the Microsoft software engineers ask you a bunch of questions. It can be technical, it can be system design, anything can be there, and you have to um, like write down your solutions, and you have to interact with the software engineers, which are interviewers that have come to conduct the interviews. And there, your interaction matters, how you interact with them, how you explain your solutions. It's not just that you are solving the problem, but also how you're communicating your solution. That also matters a lot. And then there were 2 to 3 standard technical interviews where there were technical questions that we see on Lead Code and Geeks for Geeks and websites like that. And after that, yeah, I got an internship offer, and yeah, that was a great news. Was pretty happy about that. And then I prepared for cementing my DSA and my computer science fundamentals in order to prepare for my internship. And during my internship, I worked on Azure DevOps. Um, on Azure DevOps specifically, I worked on databases and I was researching. So there was Microsoft acquired a new database, which is database company, which is called Citus, Citus, which is based on a Postgres SQL database. And our project was to do some research on them. And I learned a lot in those 2 3 months. Uh, I worked with awesome engineers who had a great background, and as I said, I was really humbled to see so much knowledgeable people there. And after that, I got a return offer, and then the journey continues. Like now, I have joined Microsoft again as a full-time engineer. So briefly, these are the some of the major points in my journey. And my advice to students would be to keep focusing on your CS fundamentals. Those are the most important things that will come into help when you are actually in your job and also in your interviews as well. And the most important thing I would say that gets overlooked often is people solely focus on their technical skills and not their communication skills. Um, as a software engineer, you will eventually work in a team, and in a team, communication matters a lot. How you communicate your solution, how you communicate if you are stuck somewhere, and how you leverage the help of others, leverage the knowledge of others to get unstuck yourself. These kind of soft skills that are really important in the industry. Uh, and in the interviews, these skills are very important to get through those interviews. It's not just like you solve the question and got that green tick and that's it. That is not how it works. um, you have to be good enough to explain your solution, to break down your solution into more understandable chunks. And also in a technical interview, I would say the you're not just solving the question matters, your code quality matters, uh, how you're structuring your code. Your code should be modular, it should be readable, proper indentation should be there, and yeah, and time complexity should be good enough. You have to be aware of the time complexities. And also this is a major point like that student gets overlooked is the base cases, the corner cases of question and that is asked to you. So yeah, these are some of the points I think in a technical interview the students should take in mind before appearing to an interview. Yeah, I think yeah, that's it. I think these
Yeah,
are some of the advice I would give to students.
that's great. Yeah, starting with the fundamentals, going from there, the projects,
Yeah.
the understanding the projects in detail. I think that's a great point that not many people mention. And yeah, then yeah, going for the internship and then getting that converted. And perhaps that leads to
Yeah.
my next question, I guess. What would you say? Because obviously you've been through this journey um,
Mm.
of going to become an intern, and then once you become an intern, it's like it's perhaps very scary.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I prepare for? What do I do during the internship? It's 3 months. Like, you perhaps have this 3 months to prove like you're worthy of a return internship
Mm.
offer. What would your advice be in terms of that? Because you ended up coming back.
I would say like I did not prepare specifically for something because Microsoft is a big organization, and there are lots of product areas that people are working on, and you cannot specifically prepare for something. Uh, and that's why I would say fundamentals are the most important thing. CS fundamentals that will not change, right? Over the years, CS fundamental will remain the same, and if you have your fundamentals rights, anything else can be built upon that. And so I would say just focus on your fundamentals. And regarding the internship itself, as I said, it is scary as a new joinee, as a new to the IT industry, and there are a lot of things that you need to learn. And I would say in that regard, my internship experience was really great. Everybody was very helpful in my team, and there is a point where I think the 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 most important thing is to be on the same page with your managers and with your mentors, and to be completely in sync with them. It should not be like you are only interacting with them after 4 or 5 weeks, and by then it's too late for you to explain what you are doing, and there can be a case where expectations are not on the same page. That should not happen. The You should be constantly looking for feedback, and try to be on the same page. And if there is any feedback from your manager or your team members, it should be acted upon immediately, so that on those 3 months you have a really less chance of making an error. And I think that's where good communication with your managers and with your team members really helps. And lastly, I would say it's not like um, from an intern everybody is expecting for them to take some time and to learn. Nobody is expecting you to do miracles in those 2 3 months, so that's a given. And I would say the you should not take much pressure as to you have to do something extraordinary. You just have to show the potential, like you have the potential to learn and to perform and to be professional enough to be in an organization like Microsoft. And I think that should be enough for you to get a return offer. Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome. And yeah, congrats again. This has been really amazing. And I'm really happy for your journey. And yeah, I think if anyone wants to check out more stuff from Joban, he normally does this reverse thing where he interviews other people. So he's got his
Yeah,
like startup or company thing he does the videos for. So we did a video there if you want to check it out, a link in the description. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, reach out to him on LinkedIn. All his links are down below. And
sure.
I'm hoping like it's good because we knew each other 2 years ago. It's still 2 years. We're still friends and stuff. So like hopefully we'll have
Yeah,
more stuff in the future for you all in the
sure.
content and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Joban.
thanks again, Salman, for inviting me. And surely anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll try my best to reply and answer your questions there as well.
Thank you.